And I had a great uncle who was born in 1883. When I was 6, I lived with him for a year. Back then, something would happen in your family. You never knew what was wrong. Y'all go and stay with so-and-so. And that great uncle was a stonecutter for the cemetery. And he also would go down to vote all the time and was denied. And he hated the statue of Robert E. Lee. It was not a statue I would ever notice. Later, Mitch Landrieu was mayor. We're both trumpet players. We went to high school at the same time. We were having a breakfast and we were talking about all kinds of stuff, not even about that. I said, man, what about that statue of Robert E. Lee? I was just remembering my great uncle's hatred of that statue. Man, we need to take that statue down. He said, man, let me see whose jurisdiction it is. He came back, he called me maybe a month later. He said, man, you know, that damn thing is under my jurisdiction. He said, look, I will go through what it takes to take it down if you write a long article about it. Now, we're colleagues, both trumpet players in high school at the same time in the 70s, far removed from 1892 or whenever my uncle first became conscious of it. And Mitch's father had been mayor, was one of the most civil rights-minded mayors New Orleans ever had. And then he expended political capital to get that statue taken down. And I'm sure Kate has stories. We all have stories of people in our family who did things, and we're all connected. So to tie it back to what has been talked about is the macro and micro world that Dr. King exhibited, speaking about. We struggle as human beings with paradox. Paradoxical thinking we're not good at. We want to be right and we want you to be wrong. Mm-hmm. So I had an experience, therefore everybody has that experience. And to create space for other people who don't think like you requires a macro understanding, and to actually create the mechanics of that space requires a micro understanding. So if you write a score, you think about, you have all of these people sitting on stage for an hour and a half, and you have to account graphically for everything everybody will do. Now, not only you have to account for what they're going to do, but every note has to have a dot or a dash over it. Everything has its dynamics. Everything has to have a direction. So you have to conceive of a big form that has many families. You got bassoons, oboes, cellos. Everybody has different rules and organizations, percussion, this and that, singing. So you have to create space for everybody. Hey, when is my choir going to... What about my oboe? I can't have the oboe just sitting there. What about my violas? I need to give them something to play. Their board sitting there. Then you have to do the micro work. So that's on the one thing of Dr. King as a macro thinker and a micro thinker. And they work together. And also what Kate was saying is about permanence. You have a score that's fixed. But if it's in music, if it's in jazz music, we have some sections, it's only slashes. So when are we going to turn people loose? And with our younger musicians, what are we always saying? With parts that are difficult, I hear them practicing it 1,000,000 times before we have to play it. You only got to play it once. If you mess it up, thank the good Lord, we're not in a fighter jet. Right? You're gonna be here tomorrow. Don't over practice these things and come to things with the spontaneity, like what she was saying in a performance. Now she's talking about a world premiere that they're putting together things so the audience has an impact. But let me tell you, like a good preacher knows, you know when the people with you, and you know when they're, and it was interesting what you said about, hey, when they're with you, you figure out what wave worked and what. Well, I thought this was going to be a climax, but it wasn't. Many things you think before you get in front of people, you think it will be a communal experience, but it is not. Do you have the humility to understand and not blame the people for something you need to? So that's kind of what I think about. And my father was a fantastic person, like Otis's father is, because he would always look at the macro and create space for everyone. He was the least tribal person I ever met. And there's so much tribalism today that people want to find a power base in people they perceive to be like them. Yeah. The coldest part of it all is those people really are not like you. They're people. So that was my father's teaching.